to a show.
You always marry your parents. You become your parents and you marry your parents, right?
Yeah.
Like you marry their parents or anyway, I'm going to become my dad. I'm already halfway there. I bought a bidet. Let's talk about that, shall we? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, the show that brings to you the latest and greatest and odd and crazy news from all over the planet. Amongst other things, I am your host, Steven. She is your extra host, Smash, because co-host is a dirty word around here because we both pull our weight. Your extra host. You get 2.
I'm extra, bitches!
You get 2 for the price of 1. How lucky are you? We don't know yet because we're already talking about marrying parents. Lord help us. I was going to drink some tea. I was going to tell you a little bit about how this was going to be a chill episode, and then there were incest jokes in the chat, and that's what happened. Hey, man, welcome to the show. Pull yourself up a chair. Wipe the Cheeto dust off your pants. Let's hang out for a little while.
Dumpster fire is such an amazing...
Right?
It's amazing. I don't know how or why that started, but every time I see it or hear it.
So here's a thing. So there's a scale, and we were trying to work this out at work. What is the proper scale? Is it house fire, dumpster fire, and tire fire? Which one is the worst, and which one is the least bad? Like, they're all bad. I'd like to say house fire is probably like your minimal.
How is that even?
It's a disaster scale.
Well, I mean, like, dumpster fire implies like really pejorative. Dumpster fire connotes train wreck to me. Just absolutely.
It was garbage before, and now it's garbage on fire.
The crap up. Yeah. Like an absolutely rooted situation where trash is on fire, and you're just like, who, at this point, who cares? The trash is on fire, and now everything stinks.
So Sub says it should be tire, garbage, dumpster, house. So he thinks house fire is the worst, or is he going from worst to best?
So if you take realistically fires, yeah, I would say house fire would be worse. But if you're just talking about, phrases that connote certain meanings.
Yeah. Then that's the thing. It's not a literal thing. We're not saying a fire in a dumpster is worse than burning down your house. We're just saying, like, when you're going like, man, that project was a dumpster fire. Like, is that
that would
worse
be
than...
like the absolute? That would be like Tiffany, the woman you hate that made out with your husband at that one Christmas party while she was drunk, becoming your boss for the 3 weeks it takes to get a project done. And you're going to get fired afterward.
So she's a dumpster fire.
That whole situation is a dumpster fire.
So it's the situation is a dumpster fire.
Yes.
I like that.
The Colts playing is a dumpster fire.
How are the Colts doing this year? Give us our sports checkup.
I like silver. The Colts won a game so far.
All right. See, not all is lost. Some people don't win games. Who didn't win a game last year? The Giants, right? They didn't win a game. What? What about the Colts?
They didn't win last year either.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Who do I root for? Do I root for the Colts?
If you're around Jacob.
Okay, because I don't have a pro football allegiance. Do we have should there be a pro
West
football
Virginia
allegiance?
never really had one, right? Like the closest
Steelers.
Yeah.
Steelers, you had the Steelers or the Redskins.
But I hated the Steelers because everybody in West Virginia liked the Steelers, and I like to be contrarian. And then the Redskins is incredibly
It's so racist. It's so racist. Like, okay, this is gonna upset literally everybody who listens to like sports. But geez, Redskins, like, are you serious?
So racist.
That is literally a derogatory term for Native American people. It's always been a derogatory term for. That's like calling your team the Austin Crackers.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Them black skinned people or them yellow skinned people. I'm like, if you had like an Asian chick's face and you named them the yellows or the yellow skins,
Hey,
like
man,
just because you've heard it for a long time and it's normal in your brain doesn't mean it's not offensive.
the San Francisco Orientals. Like, no, don't say stuff
Right?
like that. That's messed up. Like, we
I'm
have
a
got to
fourth
be better than
Cherokee
this.
and I have so much red in my skin that every time I hear red skin, I want to elbow something in the face. I'm like,
Yeah, and
fourth,
it's
a
to me,
fourth Cherokee.
to me, the Redskin thing
Jeez.
is worse by far than like Florida State Seminoles. At least there they're using a tribe name. I mean, it's not making it much better. They do a lot of work with the tribe, so it's
I was
like
gonna say, and the actual Seminole people have not came out and said this is offensive,
no,
whereas Native American people have come out and said Redskins is pretty damn offensive. Would you also like to be like semicolon the Injuns?
right. Do you need a clip? But I mean, we do that. We do that, right? Because the Cleveland Indians are the Cleveland Indians. And it's not even appropriate to call them Indians because that was just a terrible term that we used because we
We
thought
didn't know that they weren't from India because we
Right.
can't geography.
because we're stupid. It was just a thing you used. And it's like, we can be better than that. And I don't know why everyone's so like this. Why are we so anti-change, even in the need for like social progress? Because it's like, there's not statues of Hitler left all over Germany, but like,
Well, to be fair, Germany quickly realized their mistake and went burn it all down now and ignore those 10 years.
pretend that
Nothing
didn't
happened. We
happen.
were out for tea.
Yeah, right. And we're just like statues everywhere of people, and it's interesting because I know people who are like so anti, like or pro social progress, anti slavery and stuff. But man, you touch a Confederate statue and they turn around and go, they destroying history, and
So
it's like, well, boy, I mean, there some maybe yes to some degree, but didn't Robert E. Lee say at the close of the Civil War that he shouldn't be statues because it just leaves open the wounds? I
I
believe that's a thing.
I am struggling with some of the stuff that we're doing now in terms of like wanting to if a book uses the N word in it, right? Like, oh
Oh
my
yeah,
god,
yeah.
we can't read that. I'm like, does that mean we're not gonna let our kids read about World War II because it's got some shit in it and it's got propaganda? Like, we need to be exposed to that, right? We need to be exposed to our history. But I also don't think it should be celebrated, right? Like, I feel like let's take a couple pieces of the Berlin Wall, spread it across the world, let it be memorials to times that this happened. We're not celebrating it, but this is the history. This is what led up to it. Let's try to avoid this again in the future. Versus completely blotting out all the books that are racist or all the movies where women were slapped, like
Yeah,
let's take the Confederate stuff and move it somewhere and not pretend like it didn't happen because that happened, right?
that's actually not a bad idea. Like put it in a museum somewhere, rather
Indiana
than
Jones that crap,
right.
right?
I guess that's a really good point. Like instead of just tearing it down and throwing it in a dumpster, you take it and you put it in some museum and be like, this is the past, this is the history, rather than the center of a park, which may be considered a place of honor for something.
Right, yeah.
You would go like,
at some point. I mean, I everybody had family in that war on one side or the other, right? Like everybody had loved ones and people in their family
oh
die.
yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, it's not winner is written by the history. History
yes,
is
indeed
written.
it is.
History is written by the winners. Ashley cannot speak today.
That's know what? That's an interesting thing. Like I had a ancestor fought in the Confederacy. We're from Alabama. Like shocker
Yeah.
there,
I mean,
it's,
West Virginia was. I think that's why a lot of people don't consider West Virginia
a southern, yeah.
because it was Confederate stronghold, Confederate Union stronghold.
Yeah. But it's south of the Mason-Dixon line,
But it-
so it's kind of a southern state, but anyone in the south believes it's a northern state. Anyone in the north believes it's a southern state. And the
Yeah.
issue is that changes halfway through West Virginia, right?
Yes.
You stay in southern West Virginia, I promise you, West Virginia is the South. You don't get a lot more deep South in southern West Virginia, but you go, halfway up the state
Morgantown.
and it becomes Pennsylvania real
It's
quick.
Pennsylvania South.
Yeah, it's like it's like southern Pennsylvania, eastern Ohio. And you're like, none of the people here are the same as the
No.
people I know. It's really weird. Like, I told somebody once that my experience going to northern West Virginia from living in the South my whole life was that southern people, at least in my experience, trust first, and then, like, it's up to you to break that. Like, we're the kind of people, like, will offer you lemonade, will bring, greet you at the door, assume positive intent. And then if you go north, it's a switch. It goes from being that to being, you need to earn my trust before I talk to you.
And I'm going to be a dick to you.
Yeah, I'm generally going to be a butthole until I respect you. So it's like a respect versus like just an automatic kinship. Like when people show up at our house, I'm like, even when they're solicitors, I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk to them. But I'm cordial, friendly, talk to them, let them do their thing, and say, I'm sorry, I just don't think we'll do that today. I don't think I'm interested in buying this thing.
I just don't answer the door.
Well, yeah, it's also the way to go. We've got 2 cars and the garage door open. They know we're home.
Oh my God. So there's those glass panels on either side of my front door, which have been problematic for me in the past, but I still do what I do. So I was working out the other day, and that's the largest space I have right now, like in front of the front door to do anything that isn't downstairs in the basement where three people on 3 separate occasions stepped in a glue trap and walked across the mats downstairs. So they're sticky and I get my bare feet caught in them and I'm like, F this. Like, this was the only open space with a cushioned floor for me to work out if I work out from the house, right? So I was working out in front of the door and it was, I left the video up because I ran to go pee or something. And like, I turned around, I was walking in the bathroom and somebody was just staring at me through the door. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Why? How long have you been there? Like, nah. And then they dropped an Amazon package off and I was like, okay. And she just stood there at the door for another minute. And I'm like, please leave. I can't open my front door anyway. It's stuck.
Oh, is it still stuck?
It's stuck.
It's
so
pretty stuck, yeah.
Fire hazard. People come to the front door and I'm like, sorry.
Too bad. You need to get some stained glass windows there instead of just your plain old see-through windows. We should get you some stained glass windows inspired by Legend of Zelda. So you can have like Master Sword stained glass windows or something. Like, wouldn't that be awesome? I could probably make some of those. I just have to learn how to stain glass and put it together. Should be easy. Piece of cake.
On the other side, we can just get colorful, like laminate, like the plastic, and just stick it up there.
Oh,
like an
okay.
art project.
That's even better. Varhol could probably do that for us. Varhol. I don't know. I was like, Varhol. Jamal. I got stuck. I got Jamal.
From now on, Var is Varhol. And it is a curse word.
Varhol is a swear. Yeah. See, send him the dimensions. He'll cut you a like a weirdo clear sticker.
It's just like, because I don't want to put curtains up there because I like the light. I'm just like, this is my house. Stop looking through my windows.
Go back somewhere else. You should give him a do not cross line with like a small doorbell stuck to like put on a stick.
Please wait here for attention.
Ring this doorbell. I promise you, they sit there and ring it all day. It's not connected to anything.
It's not. There's so many people that ring the doorbell.
Sam loves ringing your doorbell.
Does he?
Yeah, he thinks it's great. He likes ringing all doorbells.
Ring my bell. Is that like a sex song? Ring my bells.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say yes.
I feel like you can say yes about every song ever if you say that.
Yeah, probably.
I made Jacob watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World last night, and he did not like it.
What? Really? I watched it again the other day. It's awesome.
Did not like it.
I'm so sorry. It must be a generational gap thing.
Milk and eggs, bitch.
I really, really love that movie. I watched it. I think Stephanie and Sam were gone, or somebody was asleep. Sam was asleep, and Stephanie was gone. So I turned it on, and I was like, I wonder if this holds up. Totally holds up. I have a little bit. I have a little bit of a weird celeb crush on Ramona Flowers anyway, so that was probably helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so Jacob at the end of the movie looks at me and he goes, "Is this movie based on you or are you based on the movie?"
That's actually pretty
That
good.
was unfortunately very true at one point.
That's,
I got better.
that's pretty good. I feel like I could be Scott Pilgrim, except not dating a high schooler because that's weird.
Oh my god,
I forgot like all that storyline.
he was such a dick. I don't think I fully realized his dickhood until I watched it this time around. I'm like, damn, he really was a dick.
Yeah, I mean, you say it. You say what you will about the movie, but like Edgar Wright's vision and all the 8-bittiness and all the little one-ups and the hammers and the cool, all the special effects were amazing.
The Ivy sword is still my favorite. I was like, Jacob, did you ever play Soul Calibur? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, never mind. But that sword belt she's using is Ivy's from Soul Calibur. And it was the hardest one to get the hang of. And it was still the one I used. And now I understand why you don't like this movie because there's so many references that you don't understand because you never played because you weren't the person. I took a breath.
Yep, it's amazing. I love that movie. If you haven't watched it, you should. I actually have the first 3 Scott Pilgrim comics too.
I mean, I
good
walk
as
down
well.
the aisle to the Zelda music. So any movie that plays Zelda music,
Yeah, you kind of win.
the
You
fairy
kinda-
fountain music, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Baby Driver?
No.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Is it on Netflix?
Not yet. I don't think so. When it
Okay.
is, like, turn that junk on. That's a great movie. That's the best movie. I'll watch it 3 more times.
Really, I heard if you wear earphones, like it does binaural, like if the music will play in the ear it's playing in his ear in the
Oh,
movie.
that's cool. That's really
Yeah.
clever. See, that's why I love Edgar Wright. He does weird stuff like that, and it works.
What else
There's a
does he
moment
do?
like so he did the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End.
Oh,
He did all 3 of
Jacob's not gonna like Baby Driver.
There's no way you don't like Baby Driver. Like, there's no way you walk out of Baby Driver and go, I did not like Baby Driver.
He
Like,
did
oh
not like
my
Shaun of the
God.
Dead.
I don't
did
care.
Not like
These are
Fuzz.
not those movies. These are not those movies.
At World's End probably is the funniest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I was sick coming out of that theater. I was sick.
Well, I need to watch it because I've never seen At
Oh
World's
my
End.
God, Steven. Ah! I didn't know you hadn't seen it. I actually went and saw it with Kristen and Ryan. And like we struggled always to see movies because like Ryan would just like walk out and do Christmas shopping, or
Oh yeah, he
Kristen would be
hates
like,
everything.
the dinosaur died, I'm gonna cry. But Ryan laughed the entire time. So I'm like, okay, if we got Ryan, we good.
Oh, okay. I need to give it a shot then. But like, seriously, don't look at Shaun of the Dead and go, I don't like Shaun of the Dead, so I won't watch Baby Driver. They are remarkably different movies. Remarkably different in tone, in style, in everything. If you can find yourself bobbing your head to the rhythm of gunfire, they have done something right. Like, that was the most amazing thing. I'm sitting there I'm like, these guns are firing to the beat. This is amazing. Like, how do you do this?
That's like Matrixy kind of stuff.
Oh,
like
it was so
new,
cool. They
not
deserve like all the sound Oscars ever. It was so amazing. Sub, I think that just means you're American. Bobbing your head to the sound of gunfire.
Yeah, that's so wrong.
That's terrible. That's terrible, but you get points for that somehow.
So sub, what was that link to the test? The D test, which makes it sound like an STD or some sort of like porn thing.
Is
But
that
it was
like
like
a
the
DICK test? Is that what that
right.
means?
It was like the dark test or something. It was Myers-Briggs related, but it had to do with dark factor of your personality. That's what it was. So it had to do with like sadism and greed and yada 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 yada. And Sub took it. He's like, oh my God, I'm a freaking sociopath, horrible person. You take it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so I'm like, surely this will come out decent for me because I'm such an empathic person and I'm such a good person. I got 99% on everything except greed.
Oh my gosh.
And the only person on the planet that beat me was Subject because he's like, well, I'm 100% a sadist. And I'm like, I mean, it was mostly college related. I got better.
Link.
I keep saying that.
I'm gonna need this link because I need to find out how jacked up I really am.
Oh yeah, it's greed, sadism, Machiavellianism, narcissism. But yeah, sadism, I was 99%. Machiavellianism,
What's
I'm like,
Machiavellianism? That's when you can predict your own
the
death, right?
ends justify the means kind of thing, and power and respect are better than love.
Oh no, I'm not that.
Yeah. So,
I don't
and
need power or respect. I just want people to hug me.
I think I obviously go the other way a little bit. And narcissism, I got like in the 80s for narcissism, so I was pleasantly surprised on that because I figured I would be narcissistic than anything. But that was one of my lowest ones. Greed and narcissism, I'm, quote unquote fine. The rest of them, I'm probably a serial killer.
That's kind of shocking that you aren't narcissistic. I
Right?
mean, I guess if you were more narcissistic, then you would be like number
On.
one makeup YouTuber and
Yeah.
stuff. Like you just really don't care about being seen
Yeah.
much. Like you,
I like to be I like to talk,
yeah.
but podcast.
I like to be heard by people, but only if I think I know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, I'd rather just sit in the corner and not be heard about anything. So,
Oh,
okay, here's
I
the
don't care if I know.
Machiavellian, greed, egoism, spitefulness, humanity, psycho, sadism, and self-centeredness.
Yeah, I'm apparently a psychopath too, but I mean, I'd already
Eh,
known that for a while.
everybody's a little bit psychopath, right?
So I was actually thinking, based on like, because Subject's not 18 yet, right? I mean, he will be soon, and I'm in my 30s, and I'm just like, okay, so he, quote unquote, scored higher up the scale of being a sociopathic MDKer, right? So I'm wondering if it's if people from like, I don't know, my mom's generation took that test versus like Sub's generation took that test. And I wonder what the difference would be based on kind of what's happening with social media, especially the narcissism, right, and the self-centeredness,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because we don't, like, people Sub's age don't interact with their friends and colleagues like we used to interact with our friends and colleagues when we were the same age.
We're like the last gasp of people that communicated the way we do. Like
Yeah.
you get a few years younger than us and you're in a new world. Like it's, I'm 33. So like I think anybody under the age of like 28 is probably in that less in tune with other humans because of their physical proximity kind of thing.
Right. Like, yeah, well, I mean the empathy factor, right? If you can't see that you're when you're younger that you're hurting someone, then you don't develop that empathy boner that some of us have.
No,
Yeah,
I have
that
the
empathy
worst
boner.
empathy boner. I have the worst. Oh my gosh. No, it's terrible. Like I feel like, dude, Smash. I can't listen to a sad CD, like I call it a CD, a sad album, a sad record, without like finding
A sad
myself in a pit of death and being like,
music's rough,
everything
man.
hates me.
Music will get you.
Well, it's like that. It's because you like there's stories in there, and you're like I empathize with this, or this is putting me in this kind of mood. Like I just eat that stuff. What was I? So this weekend, was it this past weekend? Maybe the whole freaking day, I was a disaster of a human being. A disaster.
Why?
I don't know. I was just like unhappy, having issues, feeling like I was
A
making
dumpster fire.
mistakes. No, like I was making mistakes, like I was screwing up this or that. Like I mean, it could be anything. I could have felt like I put the dish in the wrong part of the dishwasher, and it
No.
was just like crushing me. So I told Stephanie, like, I was like, I think I need, like, she was trying to figure, she's like, what is wrong with you? You've got this, you've just been messed up all day. I was like, I have anxiety right now, and I don't know where it's coming from, but it's killing me. And it happens every now and then, like once a month or two, twice a month, something like a day, like once every couple months. I'll get
Is it empathy for Stephanie when it's
No.
once a month for her?
No, shut up. No, it's not that. It's not even related to that. It's just like I'll wake up one morning and it's like a persistent anxiety attack all freaking day. And I can't identify it. I don't know where it comes from, but I can't shake it. So I
I
finally
think somebody in Australia must be slightly sad.
see that's what it is. That's what I'm feeling. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. So and I can't rise above it. It's just like I'm a wandering husk.
Is it
And
on Sundays?
No, this has been on Saturdays. Like it's just been screwed. It's like the last couple few times it's like Saturdays, maybe a Sunday here and there. But like
Huh.
it's I don't know what it is, but it finally got Stephanie to go, maybe you should have some anxiety medication on days like this. I was like, yes, I've only been asking for it forever. I've just been waiting for permission because my dad takes anxiety medication. She's like, I think I finally understand that this is a real problem for you.
Yeah.
I was like, it is. It's not like you just shake it off or you go deep breathe. It's like sometimes it's not just a 20-minute panic attack. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a day long, like, snowball down a hill. Like,
You
oh,
gotta sleep it off because nothing's helping
no,
it.
it's like I accidentally pulled out in front of somebody and now like I feel horrible or like I shouldn't have turned left in this parking lot because there was an optimal parking spot right there and I missed it and now I'm the dumbest person.
Oh.
Like that's where my head gets. And it sucks. So hey, call me if you ever deal with this cuz I can totally empathize with you.
That's so it you I wouldn't have considered that anxiety because I don't have
You
anxiety,
don't
right?
have
Like
it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll get the normal anxiety that people without actual anxiety get. But the closest thing I can relate to, so I like they make cycle trackers for women. Just I don't know if they want to use the pull out method or whatever.
But
Um
there's a lot of data you can gain from
Yeah,
moods and
it's
stuff. Yeah.
fantastic. So I started doing it after I came off birth control because like I was losing my shit. And I'm like, I need to make sure I'm not pregnant. So I need to make sure like where I am in this monthly loop, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I can look at Jacob and be like, another month, yes.
We did it. We did or didn't do it. Whatever that.
Right, yeah. So it's phenomenal. I know exactly how much energy I'm gonna have and how happy I'm gonna be and how sociable I'm gonna be at any day of the month based on normal variables, right? Based on nothing happening. Like today, I got a little stressed out because I'm like, I need to edit my thing. I'm going through Kelly's things. I'm getting 50 calls a day. My parents sold their building. We need to get up there and move this stuff out. We need a can of apple butter. We're bombing on Heck. We're bombing on Wally's birthday. Blah 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 blah. And so I kind of crashed and burned after Jacob got home. But yeah, it's insane how much your hormones affect anything from bathroom habits to sociability to like how much energy you have, like how long I'm going to exercise for that day.
Oh yeah, and like you see, you can track it. Dudes just have to go. Let's have this man up situation where it's like there's no rhyme or reason. It's just there.
Well, that's what I'm wondering if you started like tracking your like plot out like a month, I don't know, arbitrary.
What do you watch for? It's not like I have a key moment in my month where I'm like, oh, that explains. No, that doesn't
Well, I mean,
work.
it could be anything from like the moon patterns to like
That's true.
that happens. Like it's just stuff. I have had a period since I was 12. So at least 20 years of my life, right? And at no point did I ever realize that there was any sort of uh pattern to it. Ever. Ever, ever, ever until I started writing it down and I'm like, holy shit.
We're just brains are stupid, hormones are dumb. Like we think that we're in control of anything and we're so wrong. We have no like we how you wake up in the morning is only partially decided by you.
Right.
Like it's a lot decided by what you ate last night. It's
I
a
was
lot
gonna say how
decided.
you slept, what you ate,
Yeah.
like your ghrelin and your leptin, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
insane. But people used to journal a lot in a more private manner versus like our journals are Twitter now. Our journals are
gosh.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Like we don't necessarily sit down and actually have a quiet moment with our brain now. And people used to do that a lot. And so I think stuff was more easily acknowledged, digested, and patterns emerged a little more easily because people were more self-aware.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think if everybody started writing down, I woke up great today. I had this for dinner. Just stupid little cues that people from 100 years ago thought was completely normal to journal about.
Yeah, I mean, you could have a day and just every day on this calendar, mood, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah.
and just write down what was my mood today, what did I have for breakfast, what did I have for lunch, for dinner, maybe what time you woke up and what time you went to bed. Like
Yeah.
maybe track those things, and over the course of a month, like I've thought about doing that, like just happy face if I was having a good day, or sad face if it was a sad day, and
Or
trying
like
to
a
figure
medium
out,
day.
yeah, trying to figure out like is my month mostly occupied by sad faces or straight line smiles? Like how does it work? And then you could kind of we're
You
just
should just download the tracker that Stephanie uses for her cycle, but just like you
just
could it's
track
funny
dude
though cuz
stuff.
you can pick what you actually want to track. So you could just do mood, sleepy time, energy level, and like, stomach. And you
That's
could
yeah.
just pick smiley face, high, low, energized, exhausted, one of those four. Like you literally can pick what you want to track. It's everybody just needs to do that. And then it gives you information, right? Like it'll give you a circle and like that's your why is there a Zelda? I'm so happy right now.
Sorry, Var posted that, and I was like, oh, he wants to put that on your door. Stained glass.
Ah! Yes. Anything from Minish Cap.
That's kind of what I was imagining a stained glass window would be. Sorry, audio listeners, it was a Zelda stained glass window.
Ah!
What just happened? Was there a roach? Is there a roach? Did you die? Is everything okay? That was buddy. What just happened?
Well, I spiked this shit out. This book fell. So the Plantagenets, and I forget the other ones. What was it? The War of the Roses, the Plantagenets, and the Yorks.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's what Game of Thrones is based on. It's the Red Rose and the White Rose. They had the Plantagenets and the Yorks, and that's where Henry VIII came from. And
Yep. Nope. I have no idea what you're talking about. It's okay though. I don't have to.
anyway, like I said, I like history until like after the last of Henry VIII's wives died.
Then it
I
just
stopped
gets all
caring.
boring. It's all the same after that. It's just running on a loop.
That's actually very true because I feel like so much like revolutionary stuff happened with religion and science and all kinds of like social aspects after like up until and during Henry VIII's reign. And then it's kind of like
We'll just
then they
keep
just
repeating
burned lots
ourselves.
of people, and then we moved here and we burned lots of people. So
And then the steam engine. So things happened.
that only happened like in the alternate universe where I can use a steam powered gun and wear a corset.
You can still do steamy things. It's just largely inefficient. You can still create steam. Hey, you want to do a factoid?
Yeah, I'm gonna look up the Plantagenets.
Arachibutyrophobia is the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth. I thought that would be the fear of like spiders mixed with peanut butter.
It does. I looked at that and I'm just like, that just seems so. That seems so peanut butter spiders.
Arachibutyrophobia. I don't know. You know what? Peanut butter's good and all, but every time I eat a peanut butter sandwich, I end up feeling kind of sick. Peanut
That's
butter kind of
because
makes
you
me
don't
sick.
eat. Well, you guys have good peanut butter. You
Yeah,
have
but
good
we've
peanut
talked about this like last week or something. That the peanut butter that you tell us to buy is
Oh, you don't
made
like
of.
it because it's goopy.
It's goopy. It's like eating gack. It's disgusting. Gack with nuts in it. Nutty gack.
Lancaster and York. That's what it was.
That's a lot different than Plantagenets.
Well, the Plantagenets were from Anjou, but I can't remember if they were 4 distinct royal houses.
Yeah.
And the Lancasters and the Yorks were, but those were the ones that were warring.
Oh, okay, good. Thank
That's
you
what-
for clearing that up.
Look, if you're gonna watch Game of Thrones sexy time, you at least need to know what he based that shit.
I don't watch Game of Thrones
Not
sexy
you,
time.
the royal you.
Oh, the Royal You. Speaking of, I found The Big Lebowski on Blu-ray, and me and Stephanie are gonna watch it. I had it upstairs, and I forgot, and I found it in a box, and I was like, ooh.
Aw, that tape really tied the box together.
I'm gonna. No, it's exciting because I told Stephanie, I was like, Well, she's watched Fargo now. She watched Hell Caesar with me. She's watched a numerous amount of Coen brothers that are generally in Big Lebowski vibe, right?
Was Hell
Completely.
Caesar good? It looked adorable.
Hell Caesar was great. It was
Yeah?
completely useless. It will bring nothing to your life other than smiles and laughter because there was 0 point to the entire thing. It was just like
Yikes.
Burn After Reading was. You watch it from beginning to end, and you're like, literally nothing happened that was of any consequence to anyone. But you had an adventure, and you couldn't help but laugh the whole time. So Hell
That's a good
Caesar
movie.
follows that, and that's kind of Big Lebowski too. Like,
Yeah, it's very true.
there's nothing here, but there's something there. They're masters at hiding something in nothing. And so I was like, you like these movies? They're not really any worse or better than Big Lebowski. Like, I think you might like the Big Lebowski if you watched it. It
Has
might be.
Stephanie not seen the Big Lebowski?
No, she's never seen it. So I was like, and she's always been like, I don't get it. It sounds stupid or whatever. I'm like, you did
It
watch.
sounds incredibly stupid, but damn it, that movie is amusing.
But you watched Fargo and you laughed, and it was, it was what it. They put a guy in a wood chipper in that movie.
I see. I haven't seen Fargo, so
Oh shoot, watch Fargo. Oh my gosh.
I think Jacob's mom even told me to watch Fargo.
Everybody should watch Fargo. It was a ride, man. It was wonderful.
Sub and I are like, we haven't seen Fargo, so
Oh no, that's fine. I mean, I didn't see Fargo till like 3 months ago. It was the first time I'd ever watched it, and I was like, why did I wait so long? I have
yeah,
made
that's shocking
mistakes.
that you waited because you're like all movie all the time.
I know. I got a lot of movies I haven't watched. I gotta catch up. But that's
Terminator.
okay. Yes, yeah. We need to watch that together, though.
Yeah.
That's a me and you and Stephanie and Jacob. Sit
And
down
then we
watch.
call Arnold and have him on the show and be like, I pretty much view you as my father. So don't die or I'm going to be real pissed.
When I looked at my dad, I saw you.
I'm serious. Like, I don't know what it is, but I look at freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger and some of the stuff he posts on Twitter and I'm like, you are my dad. Is it just like all guys once they get past a certain age? Like, you've got guys that are like your dad, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then there's guys that are like my dad. And then you've got the 80-year-olds that still run decathlons.
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be some happy middle ground there somewhere.
I don't know. It's just you've got the people that I don't know. Yeah, you are going to be your dad. Sorry, Steffi.
It's too late. My dad, I know we're supposed to tell stories on this show, but there's a lot going on, everybody. My mom and dad bought me and Stephanie that bidet. We talked about at the end of last week's show. It's a bidet that you attach to your toilet. It's like and it fits underneath the toilet seat. You like screw it down using the toilet seat into the toilet. And there's a splitter from the water feed that goes into the tank so that it can feed the bidet. And you just twist the knob and the water goes pew. It shot 6 feet and up into the air, like into my shower. My toilet and my shower are across from each other. And I twisted the thing kind of out of the way just to see how much water pressure there was. It was like pew. I mean, you could pretty much pressure wash a porch with that thing.
And then they did pressure wash the
Then we did pressure wash.
It twists 6 feet. I added that to the title.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Title suggestions. Don't forget that those are available. So I've been using the bidet, and my short, simple review is I don't ever want to go back. This is the way we should be doing it. There is a world that we are not experiencing because we don't have bidets just built into every toilet in America. Like, they should just be a thing. It is the best. I promise you, you will never walk away feeling like stop using dry toilet paper. Just don't do it. It's a disaster. It's going to wreck your butthole.
For your butt.
99 out of 100 proctologists agree that toilet paper is bad. And you should at least be using a wet wipe. But if you use a wet wipe, the Plumbers Union of America is going to punch you in the face.
So wipe your butt with the dry toilet paper, wipe your butt with the wet wipe, and throw the wet wipe away.
Oh, you could get the poo off with the dry one, and then get the wet one just to make sure you're good.
Still be so fresh and so cleanly. It also encourages you to throw your trash away in the bathroom.
Or you could just get a bidet and squirt your butthole with the water hose when you finish.
That's that bidet, man. So I've used bidets before and they're very like a gentle it's like sitting on a water fountain essentially. It's just like this gentle.
Oh, that's your female washeroo there.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
right. Like
This
that's
is
the separate
your
bidet. This is the enema if you want it bidet.
yeah, this is your we got to pressure wash the poo out of the crevices there.
I sure wash. This is if you've got diverticulitis, this will just get all up in there.
I'm telling you, it's powerful. But what I didn't realize is like I was really scared that it was going to just take my nuts out when I sat down and turned it on. Cuz you got business happening and I didn't know where stuff was going to go. I was like it's either going to hit the undercarriage there, it's going to go forward and just hit the testicles like a speedball. And I was like I don't want that to happen.
Testicles like a speed.
One or speed bag like in boxing, but I
Oh
didn't
my god, testicles like
so
a
I didn't want that to happen. So I got real nervous the first time I had to twist it. I was like, okay. So I like grabbed the important parts and held on to those to make sure the water wouldn't take them out. And then I twisted it.
He had the reverse tuck.
I twisted it just a little bit and it came shooting out of there, but it met its target. That's for sure. But what I did find is that you can't just sit there and just twist it. You kind of got to move your rear end around a little bit to make sure you wash all the parts. Get it real good, and then you can turn it back off.
Steven, I saw Steven today, and he's like, "You want to go upstairs and use the bidet?"
I'm singing the tune now, man. Like if you walk into my house, it's been like, "Hi, welcome to the house. My name's Steven. Would you like to use my bidet?"
Would you like to use the master bathroom?
Yeah, you should go upstairs to the master bathroom. We have a bidet.
Oh, Steve now runs a bidet. It's bidet, so it's very French.
When I love something, I want everyone else to experience too. There's a few things in my life I will tell everyone about: Rain-X, Goody Powder, and bidets.
Now, if you could combine those all somehow,
That I don't know that those go together. It does not compute. We should do some news now. World news.
Laughing at the speed bag thing.
Well, I'm telling you, you just don't want, just all in your nuts.
This is why Steven won't use the squatty potty. I got everybody squatty potties for Christmas like 2 years ago. And nobody liked the poopery. Nobody used the squatty potty. And I'm like, curse you all. But when I'm the only one with proper bowel health when we're 80, then I'm going to be like, nah.
I have proper bowel health now. I've got the bidet.
Hemorrhoids.
That's all I need. And I couldn't do the squatty potty. I felt like I was like crunched up. I wasn't comfortable. And
You're supposed to sit up straight. Like all it does is elevate your knees.
I can't.
Like what did you do? Hunk into like some sort of gargoylean ball?
That's how everybody does it. You hunch over your legs and you play on your phone until you're done. Unless you're McFly, in which case you put your phone like as far away from you as possible in the bathroom.
So I'm gonna tell on my husband. He had his phone connected to the Bluetooth speaker. I just spit on my chin. And he walked into the bathroom at some point and just a football game came over the speaker out. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And then I'm like, Jacob's trying to listen to a game in the bathroom. So I just went and pressed the power off on the Bluetooth speaker. I'm like, enjoy your game, honey.
Hey, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. At least it was just football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he gets enough porn.
It's fine. I heard a horror story once on Reddit of somebody that was watching some business up in their bedroom, and when they turned on their laptop or they disconnected the monitor from their laptop, it Apple played down on the TV downstairs where everybody had been watching a movie.
Oh,
So it automatically shifted to the next available monitor. It happened to be an AirPlay system, Apple TV. There's a lot of explaining to do, or none. In some families, you just go, well, that was unfortunate. We'll never speak of this again.
Tommy, if you want to watch porn, fine. But I don't want your 8-year-old sister watching your porn. Put a lid on that shit.
Gotta make sure all your stuff's disconnected, man. Hey, French fries in Europe are expected to be an inch shorter this season. Smaller potatoes? What is it? French fry tree not producing? A potato shortage.
So sexual. It's wieners. French fries is code for wieners. Europeans have small wieners. This just in.
A potato shortage in Europe is expected to affect the shape and size of French fries in the region. Belgium, France, and the UK are experiencing the shortage, which is not so much a lack of potato yield, but disappointing growth with the potatoes that the potatoes have produced. Belgian potato farmers reported smaller sized spuds because of an unusually hot and dry summer. Unusually hot and dry. There's no climate change. Belgium will be particularly affected as frites or fries are the country's signature dish. Belgium reportedly has over 5,000 friteries serving up the classic street food, which is usually
Jacob,
eaten
can we
with
go
mayonnaise.
to Belgium like tomorrow?
Yeah, man. Hey, Belgium, if I was told if you ever go to Belgium, there are 3 things you need to eat. The French fries, which were invented in Belgium, funny thing. The waffles and the chocolate. So one of my buddies was like
Belgium, home of the diabetes.
one of my buddies who was stationed in Belgium when he was with the military for a little while, like he said there was in the main touristy areas, you can go to like the town center and there's like waffle cart, French fry cart, chocolate cart, like every 3 feet. They're just selling enormous because they know tourists are coming there and they're like, tourists eat. That's what we do when we go, especially Americans.
I would like to be extremely fat in Belgium.
Yeah, so we need to go. I hear Belgium's pretty awesome. You know, it's known as the what do they call it? The battlefield of the world, because Belgium has seen more war than any other country. Any I don't know if it's modern war, but you know, some of the greatest battlefields, World War I, World War II, and other places were in Belgium. Shocker.
Let's stop shooting each other in the face.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Balls.
You just keep your stuff, I'll keep my stuff, and we'll just not kill each other. Good deal. It is a disaster in the fields that the farmers could not irrigate. We record losses of around 30%. Romain Kool's, the Secretary General of Belgapom, the country's largest potato grower, told the newspaper. The drought and poor growing season will likely cause Belgium's fries to be noticeably shorter, about an inch on average, though they are not the only country suffering. It's the same thing across southern England, the Netherlands, France, and Western Germany. Note, he said Western Germany, not West Germany, which is fine.
I wonder if people still have like a nerd jerk when they say Western or Eastern.
Oh, man, we missed a lot of that, but it had to really suck to know. So, interesting thing. One of the dudes that was a developer at Double Fine, and he was in the documentary, the Double Fine Adventure documentary, talking about growing up, and he grew up in East Germany where it was communist. And he said he knew of people in West Germany just over the wall who could get real computers and like learn how to program in real like Western technology. And he was like, I wanted it, just there was no way for me to get it. You know, like. Could you, like, I can't imagine knowing that they are literally a stone's throw for an entirely different way of life. You know,
I think that wall did not go up overnight.
No,
that wall happened because people became inundated and complacent, and I think that's why some of the political stuff that's happening in America right now is terrifying to anybody that likes World War II history and likes Germany. Because, I mean, people weren't forced at gunpoint to do stuff. People were, I am so sick of hearing this idiot talk. Turn off the radio, turn off the TV. And then it starts getting a little scary. And then it starts getting a little scary. And then it goes from, this is freaking ridiculous. Are we really going to build a wall to, how do I get out of my country?
it's
Oiled
a thing.
frog.
Who was it? Was it Upton Sinclair? No, not Upton Sinclair. Somebody Sinclair wrote a book called "It Couldn't Happen Here." Yeah, it's a little like it's written old, like it's an old book. When you read a book that's just like this is out of its time,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am
Yeah.
struggling.
Yeah.
It's that you're like, what? Who edited this for you? This is the most disjointed, weird dialogue driven. Is this a script or is this a book? And I had a trouble getting through it, but it's probably worth a visit. Just because it couldn't happen here is a thing that people say everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 I mean, the Germans weren't intrinsically awful people that were like, let's kill all the Jews and all the communists and all the gypsies and all the mentally and physically disabled people because that's who we are as a group of people.
Spartans probably thought it was pretty rad throwing out weird looking babies until
I
they
mean,
had one, and then they were like, "Oh dang, I gotta throw
yeah,
out my
especially
weird looking baby."
the mother with all those hormones pumping through her that's telling her not to eat her child.
Oh yeah, mama bear, whatever. Small town news. Sub,
Sub.
love you, sub.
Austrians, a province from World War One. Boo! A Halloween display was so scary. A neighbor called 911. I feel like this probably happens every year.
Oh yeah,
Like, especially the way some of the decorations have gotten that you can just buy.
we're good. We're good at
Ah,
decorations.
especially we're like Rob Zombie visited my house. A Halloween decoration hanging in the window of a North Dakota home is so scary that it prompted calls, plural, from concerned neighbors and at least one P for police assistance.
That's plea.
Oh, the sign reading, quote, help me, which appears to be written in blood, is part of Becky Moe's display for her favorite holiday at her West Fargo home. Becky,
Well done, Becky.
Belia. Belia.
Well done.
It's Muhs, Muzz.
Moose.
Moose and her husband began getting messages from neighbors of the weekend asking if they were okay. And one neighbor called 911, leading to a visit from a police officer. Muzz says the incident ended with a laugh and the officer didn't ask her to take the sign down. Oh my
Nice.
God, though. Like, wouldn't that be perfect? I'm going to kill some people during Halloween because the officer's just going to come be like, oh, George, that's just my Halloween sign. And all those screams you hear from the basement, that's the CD that I got playing for when the kids come over.
You know what? You're not wrong. They made a
There's
movie
a
about that,
screenplay.
right?
Yeah, I'm like, there's a screenplay there somewhere.
I'm sure there's already been several movies made with this exact premise. Maybe one of them was called Halloween.
Oh, I am so stoked for the new Halloween.
Did you see it?
I'm so the thing that got me really excited was where the part in the preview where Michael is walking to the shed, grabs a hammer, and then walks in the kitchen. It's silent. There's
Yeah.
no music. There's no freak out. It's like a nice long shot. I'm like, that's so like, because that's what made the original. So it wasn't. I mean, it was jump scary for that time, but it wasn't.
Oh
Like
yeah.
crazy music that was trying to get elicited a response based on music versus dude's walking to get the hammer and I know what he's gonna do with that shit and it's really quiet and I'm forgetting to breathe and blink. I'm excited.
It's uncomfortable. There's I think that's a thing that I've noticed in a few different movies. Like the Avengers Infinity War used silence to great effect. Like sometimes the magic is in not hearing music over top of the moment. Like
Yes.
like when spoiler alert, when the Avengers at the end when people were fading away, like it was quiet and it was haunting because of how quiet it was. And I could see that working for Halloween. Like the Michael Myers wandering around in silence, you're like, "Oh my gosh. This is going to be bad."
It's kind of grating, right? And I think silence at one point in movies was bad, right? Because you wanted to set the mood and yada yada yada. But I mean, like Jeff Kanata was saying, we're so inundated with sounds and noise and flashes now that silence becomes unbearable for our culture right now.
Yeah, that's Jeff Kanata from CreatorCrush.com. You can listen to that interview on that podcast. You should go listen to it now, later, after the show. but yeah,
Rate this before you go write that.
fun thing about Halloween, it is co-written by the most unlikely of people I would ever figured would have been on this. Danny McBride. Uh, do you remember? So Eastbound and Down, you probably don't know, but there was a movie, the Tropic Thunder. Tropic
I was
Thunder,
gonna say the
the
comedian.
explosives guy, the guy who was blowing everything up with Nick Nolte.
Yeah, he was in something else that you and Jacob like to quote.
Oh, I don't remember. He was in the Seth Rogen End Times movie. The
I
end
didn't
of not End of Days. That was Schwarzenegger. This is the End, I think is what it was called. He was in that. I don't know. Look up Danny McBride, but he's always done comedy, and I'm like, what?
Pineapple Express. That was
That
one
was
of
it.
them.
Yeah. So I was like, where did he come from, and can all of a sudden make an amazing Halloween
Well, I hope
movie?
it's amazing. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's getting a lot of really good buzz. So we'll see how it goes.
The last one I saw him in was Alien Covenant. He was the guy with the wife. That
Oh, okay. I didn't see Alien Covenant.
don't.
Okay,
Just
so
don't.
Predator and
Super-
Alien are both out for me.
Oh
That's
my god, Predator was so bad.
let's do
Kill
our
us off.
special section. There's a
Hey.
bottle of Macallan whiskey that sells for 1.1 million at auction. A bottle of Macallan brand of whiskey was sold at an auction in Edinburgh, Scotland for 1.1 million. I'd be afraid to open and drink it. Like, you can't do that. The whiskey distilled in 1926 and bottled in 1986, which was purchased by a private collector in Asia who made his bid over the phone. That's a 60-year gap in distilling versus bottling. Like, it's just sit in a keg. Like, Jacob, does the whiskey just sit in a keg somewhere and then eventually get put into things? Like, put into a bottle? Like, how's that work?
They do it's not whiskey, it's scotch, right?
This says whiskey.
Oh.
It sits in a keg for a really long time. That's what
I
Kelly
think
said.
they have to char it. Like it has to be a charred like white oak keg.
Maybe. Because I think you don't want, like, I guess some wood flavor kind of seeps into the drink, right?
And that's why they use certain barrels. Like they'll use cherry or they'll use oak. And then a lot of times they'll take wine kegs and then use that, like the old wine keg for whatever they're doing. There's a difference between whiskey with an E and a whiskey with just a Y. I think EY.
Oh, that's interesting.
I forget. I read all of this when we were doing pit liquor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
should get
Kelly said I was right.
we should do a brewer on Creator Crush. That'd be fun.
Oh, Jacob said that there's a brewer that he would like us to chit chat with that I need to reach out to.
Well, get him. I was thinking about
I'm just
local people
worried that
too.
I'm going to be gone the next Wednesday, and I'm worried about my sound quality.
Oh, we'll make it work.
Okay, cool.
It's fine. I mean, so we really need to get you a blue icicle so you could just take that microphone you've got with you and just plug it in.
Really just sounds like a vibrator name.
It does, doesn't it?
Like
I've got
so,
the blue
I've got
icicle.
the blue icicle.
It sounds. I've heard people who podcast like pros, get paid the money and they use a blue icicle.
I want to look up blue icicle now. There's gonna be
Probably a
sex toys.
vibrator along
Blue
with the thing.
ice.
The bottle is sought after due to its label being designed and signed by artist Valerio Adami. Adami co-signed the album sleeve for the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Oh, that'll do it. It's the Rolls Royce of malts, Martin Green of auction company Bonhams, who hosted the sale, said. Obviously, we don't know what will happen to it, but anyone who can spend around £1 million for a bottle of whiskey could afford to drink it. But it's an object of beauty in its own right, almost a museum piece. Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got $1 million and you're willing, could you imagine? There are people who live in a world where $1 million is not a lot.
Expendable cash, yeah.
I mean, like, what? How? How does that work? Like, I remember, so forgive me, and we don't have to dwell on this, but there was an interview, my mom was telling me about it, years ago. Melania Trump, not Melania, the little girl, Ivanka Trump, was on some channel, and she was talking about, I just have a very modest apartment. It only cost me $1 million a month in New York City. And I was like, and everybody's jaw falls on the floor. And I'm not picking on the Trumps. People have money. That's fine. It's just like, it's shocking. I'm like, and it shows you like there's an out of touchness
A
in,
modest.
yeah, a modest apartment. It's $1 million. I'm sure it is a modest apartment in New
She said
York
it was
City.
$1 million a what?
A month, right? Like to have an apartment that like a 2-bedroom in New York City, I would imagine would be $1 million. Like there's no, because
She pays $12 million for rent.
yeah,
Or did at some point. A year.
a year. I mean, but you're making how much?
Holy sack of ball. So there is no, I think Steven and I both agree there's nothing wrong with having money. Like, great, have all your money. But also, if you, like Steven said, there's a certain disconnect between what's feasible for the majority of people versus people that have, $12 million a year to spend on rent.
My math might be off. You guys can correct me, but whatever it was an unreasonable amount of money. Right?
Now I want to Ivanka Trump rent in New York. I mean, this has to be a thing. Oh, Ivanka Trump's modest Park Avenue apartment. Let's see what.
Yeah, what is it? How much money? Do the research.
Listed her 2-bedroom is 4.1 million self. It was 15 grand a month.
Okay,
rental.
15 grand a month.
Okay.
Either
so
way,
maybe, yeah.
That's a substantial amount of money for any average human being.
People will pay that much for a car in a year, so.
Yeah. So regardless, thank you for correcting me though. I appreciate the
research.
That's
fine. It was she paid $1.5 million when she bought it.
Maybe that's what maybe that's where the number comes from. But either way, holy balls, that's expensive. And and I had a thought and it just drained out of my head.
Because I mathed you.
No, yeah, I was trying to do all the math, but whatever. Like, it's expensive. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. People throw at you, money is the root of all evil. Those people are wrong. The love of money is the root of all evil. If you put money above any other pursuit, as the thing you're after, you're going to end disappointed. Or you will find yourself doing twisted things to get there.
Subject, are you listening with your greed score of 100?
Yeah, so, man, having money's not a bad thing. It's just a good idea to put that money to good use, Like giving it to Horseshoes and Hand Grenades at tudorks.net/tip.
I mean, you can have your 15 grand a month apartment, but, do some charity work or something. Holy shit.
And, I mean, we're under no impression that the way we live isn't incredibly wealthy to someone else. I think that's the key. Like, I mean, I have a 4-bedroom house in the peak of good living. And... To people, that's insane, and it's important to look at it every once in a while and go, like, I am in the lap of luxury,
Everybody's normal is their normal, right? Just because, like, everybody thinks the way they live or the way their family situation is normal, and a lot of times it takes being uncomfortable in a situation that you maybe never thought you were in to see that, that's not like the heck thing that we were doing that we're involved with, right? Like I think of Charlie, Duke, med student, driving around with his psychotically smart brain, got into a car accident, can't walk, can't go to the bathroom by himself, can barely speak.
Yeah.
And like, he's still in his head, right? But he's stuck. So his normal is, I will never have a girlfriend. I'll never have a wife. I'll never have children. My dad will take care of me until he, and like, that's so uncomfortable. And you're just like, oh my God, thank you that I can walk, but we're like, I'm so tired to exercise. I'm like,
it's a level set. There's a cautionary tale to be had there too. There's a lot of trends. Man, we go deep. There's a lot of trends for people to go on these trips, particularly in churches with younger groups. They go on these mission trips to Dominican Republic and to Ghana and like the far out places, and they come back going, I feel so affected by all this, and my life is nothing, and that lasts for like 6 months, and then you're back
Right.
to being
Yeah.
normal again. Instead of focusing on the, no one cares if you feel better or upset. We care that you're going out and reaching people for the cause that we're here for.
Right. Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they'll double it up with like, we're going here and look at how the other people live, and
Yeah.
how bad you must feel for yourself that you just drive around in a Toyota every day when
Right.
they're, piecing together a push cart out of
Walking 2 miles
scrap metal. And then they
4
go
times.
like, "Oh, and Thursday we're going to the beach." And it's
Yes,
gonna be
we're gonna go
great.
ride horses
We're gonna go ride
on the
horses and go to
beach.
the beach. So it's like this double like vacation slash sad trip. And then really, did anyone who was supposed to be affected by that get affected by that?
Like long term. And I think that's why. So a lot of people say church is like a weekly reset for them. Like, people that do any sort of church or whatever
Yeah,
religiousness.
yeah.
It's like people walk out of church and you're like, I'm gonna volunteer, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then by the next Sunday or Saturday, whatever, they're like, shit. Like it's just a reset.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm guilty of that. I've done that before. It's
It's not good, bad, or indifferent. It's just it's needed that you've thank you, Kelly, so much for the
yeah.
cheers.
Thank you, Kelly. You the best.
You need a constant reminder not to be a shithead. I mean, everybody does, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Subject apparently really needs a
Some
constant
needs
reminder not to be a
Yeah,
shithead.
some that's 4.5 out of 5 worth of needing to be reminded. No, it's tough. There's a lot of like, I mean, I could go on about this. This is an entirely new podcast worth of material. But you can go to church and people go, "Oh, that's where I get fed and I get my thing. What do I get out of it?
Right.
Where do I exist? How does this work for me?" And I think we give into that a lot when we go sit. It's like, who's being spoken to, or what's like, especially when it comes to like the music and the songs, it's like, who's the audience? Like, is the audience, is God the audience, or is the crowd the audience? And how did we screw that up? How did we become like entertain us, rather than help
Wow.
us participate in an event? It's a wild, and I know we're going theological a little bit. If this isn't your world, I'm sorry. This is our podcast. But
Steven just said to suck it in the nicest possible
I got
way.
the microphone. But really though, it's an absurdity that I struggle with myself. I'm like, why is and there's places I've been that are big and showy that have the concert level like
The
worship
fog
service.
and the pew 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 pew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there are also, it's a lot on the band that's playing what they're trying to draw attention to. I've been to them where it was clearly the lead singer's show, and it was clearly an effort to show off his talent. And at one point he brought in his band so his own band could play, and I'm like, this is about you.
Yeah.
You are doing it wrong, and I could see through you the day you showed up in your tight pants and weirdo girly shorts, or girly shoes. Like, you want to be the center of attention. When I go to other places and I see like, okay, that guy's very talented, but that guy does not want a spotlight. That guy does not care. He's just there to play the instrument and lead the songs.
Yeah.
And it can still be loud. It can still be, whatever it is, but you get, when the person up there is like, watch me rock out versus let me help lead you in this song.
Church music is so weird because Steven and I, we went to the Christian school, like, so we've had the chapel church music, and I think we've both been in very traditional churches before, and we've been in very non-traditional churches with the laser lights and the smoke, and but church music is all you've got it's a very wide spectrum. You've got the chick that's been taking harp lessons for 3 weeks and can't sing worth a shit, but she wants to share something. And then you've got the guy that thinks he's at a Led Zeppelin concert, right?
Yes.
There's so much in between, but church music is like a movie. If whatever is going on takes you out of what you're saying, then it becomes that defies the point of the music, right? Like, I can listen to Christian music and my radio. I don't need to go to church to listen to Christian music.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's actually it's really disappointing to listen to it on the radio. We have it pretty much stuck on a radio station that's nothing but praise and worship music. Because it's a safe thing to drive around
For
with
Sam,
Sam.
yeah.
And I say that because I absolutely hate it in the car. I hate it. I hate it because I listen to it and all I can see is like, this is such poor quality. The words are so bad. The things that they're doing, no popular music would ever. This is not going to be popular music. This is never. It's not even good songwriting half the time. Sometimes I listen to it, I'm like, this is the worst. You're using the same word to rhyme another word. You're using a homonym. Don't use homonyms in your rhymes. Like heard and heard match, but this is not. You don't do that. Like, this is bad. Like, HEARD and HERD, like, literally used line after line to rhyme a song. And I'm like, I want to choke you every time I hear it. And then there's this other song where they're like, I will live, I will not die. And it's like, those are the two of the same thing. You're saying the same thing with different words. And I want to choke you. And you have a record deal. I'll punch you in the face. And I'm like, then there's other songs like, they'll come on and you'll be like, that's a songwriter. That guy deserves to be on the radio. Yes, this is a praise and worship Jesus song, but that guy tried. These other people are doing that crap that me and Horace Holloway were talking about where they're like, capo too. And then they're just playing the same chords everybody ever played. And they're like singing some random psalm that you can't put in a song because it's it's like a hymn. You know,
It
it's
went
like
from Assyrian to English and didn't translate
you're
well.
like this isn't even poetry anymore. This is just you're singing a Bible verse. It's not a song. And it's like, stop it. And I lose my ever loving mind listening to artists on the Christian radio. And they're like, that was a song by what's his name. And I'm like, I don't even care. You've just given me a name that I'm going to blacklist from my Spotify forever. I don't want it. I
Oh
hate
my
it.
god. So I know you're not a huge South Park fan, but there is an episode of South Park that touches on this and how easy it is to get into Christian music market and how lucrative it is. So you get people going into it for the wrong reasons. And so what Cartman and his little crew did, they took like Backstreet Boy songs and instead of "Ooh Babies," they just substituted for "Ooh God." And they ended up getting this like massive music deal because they just took love songs and put God in where the "Oh Babies" would be. And I'm like, literally life.
This is legit. I'm serious. So back in 11th or 12th grade, I remember sitting with a friend of mine griping about Christian music. Just griping about it at school, at Christian school, in a class where it's like a study hall or something. I was like, Christian music is awful. It's awful. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I mean that it's not well written and the chords are bad and they use the same ones all the time. And it's nice that you get a nice feeling, but I've listened to plenty of quote unquote crossover bands. At the time, like one of my favorite punk rock bands was MXPX, and they had Jesus songs, but they were their songs about their life and the way they did things and how like Jesus things got them through situations. And that was 10 times better than just hearing someone sing a random psalm. Like, I'm singing Psalm 101 today, you know, like, and putting it to some sort of wonky beat that you heard because Kendrick Lamar had a song and you decided you were going to be this. It's like, you can listen to the Christian radio and you're like, that's their Adele replacement. That's their,
God.
you know, that's the hip hop man replacement. I don't know any modern artists anymore. But you can seriously pick it through. You're like, oh, that's their Katy Perry. That's who that is. And you're just like, you guys are just, you're not even trying. And I can't help like, I want the people that do Serial about the murders to like dive into the Christian music industry and see how many of these people are legit Jesus loving Christians or are people that were like, I got a
Cartman.
music career? Because I know it's there. I know it's there. Maybe not in the artists themselves, but maybe in the songwriter, maybe in the producer, maybe in the record label. Someone there is in this for the money, and they're only in this for the money, and they are getting it. And I want to know who they are, and I want to expose them for the bunch of hypocrites they are. Because I would rather you be doing anything else than just going, yes, you sing gospel in church. Here's an album. Like, stop it. I'm sorry. I get real.
I'm just like, subjects clipped like 15 minutes of the rant, and everybody's like, just to confirm, Steven gets angry over Christian music.
I feel like this is justified anger. I feel like Jesus flipping tables right now. I think it's okay.
I mean, at least you didn't Harrison Ford with the finger.
Right. What is this? Is this a thing? What's the Harrison Ford finger?
Oh my God. If you watch a movie with Harrison Ford in it, the bitch is pointing.
Oh, you're right. He does do that.
Points at everything. Like he's got his hand up like this constantly, or like right in your face. Every movie.
Well, I mean, it kind of gets the point across, right?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I'm just like, we're taught not to talk with our hands and not to point. That's kind of like taken out of most of us early on, but not Harrison.
He doesn't. He never went to acting school. He's admitted before that he was just the guy who stayed around. Everybody else quit.
Maybe that's it.
He was
but yeah,
"Everybody
like
else
the
quit around."
Christian music is. So I have always hated Christian music. It drives me nuts. It's not that sometimes I don't hear a song, I'm like, oh, that's beautiful.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I would never listen to that outside of church because it's not set to German electronica, but it was a beautiful song, right? So like my quote unquote Christian music mix was when I was feeling particularly convicted about cursing too much. I would take all the songs that had overt cursing in it and I would take them out of my playlist. And I'm like, this will help me not curse as much.
It was a
And then I
valiant
stopped
attempt.
giving a care.
Yeah, you can only have so much. There's some things just are never going to work. Maybe Perfect Smash doesn't swear, but good enough
Perfect
Smash.
swears a
Good
lot.
enough Smash tries not to, but it doesn't mean you
As
have to.
I've hit 21 in the last hour.
Yeah, go figure. We really nailed it down there. I don't know. I just how I feel now. Welcome.
Marilyn Manson was in my Christian music mix because there are songs where he doesn't curse.
There are plenty of songs that I listen to that are remarkably well written and get to an emotional core of a feeling that I think is a big part of it. And they speak to something, good for you. And that's like a lot of the Hillsong people. I know this is getting churchy, but they do a really good job of writing some pretty well written. They're good musicians at their
Hillsong people?
Yeah, the Hillsong United folks. They're good musicians at their core. They start as good musicians, and they chose this path. And I think that's the key. Like it's you start as a good musician, you choose this path. You don't just choose this path and sing guitar in church and then go, I got a record deal. It ticks me off. But they.
I love that you're so like, because I've thought about this before, but it's never it. I think it culminated with the South Park episode. I'm like, okay, so people know that this is a thing.
Oh yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
just wear. How about this? To churches I've been to before, I literally, if I did not bring earplugs, if I forgot them, I would not go in until the music stopped, and then
Yeah.
I would go listen to the pastor. Like
That's. I mean, sometimes they think they need to be loud to get people. Sometimes they think they don't. Some people are looking. There's a million different places that you can go to get the experience you want out of that, or to and I like to think that you go to find the experience that helps you not be distracted into not participating in the worship part of it. You know, like it's easy to go and be like, oh, I'm gonna rock out with these guys, and that maybe that's the wrong place for you because you're getting lost in that aspect. You're not getting sunk in and really thinking about the words.
who cares if the I guess it bothers me because I feels like we're trying to draw in children with like the light shows and the yada 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 yada.
Yeah.
Like
We're doing the same thing TV does.
kids are not gonna enjoy church, dude. Like they're not. They're having to sit still early. I don't enjoy church. Like, I like church, but I hate going to church. Does that make sense?
It's
Because it's early.
you like exercising, but you don't like to exercise.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel better once I've gone. You meet awesome people. You get you meet people and you're just like, look, this is a way you can help the community out this week. This is, we have needs for this, for food pantries, for, writing, whatever. Like, so that part of it's great. But I don't want to get up early. I don't want to sing the stupid songs. Christian music just
See,
meh.
we went back around. I'm telling you, this is a whole podcast all by itself.
Yeah.
But it depends. It depends on the kid. It depends on the situation. I was an introverted weirdo kid, and the church I tried to go to was already full of cliques by the time I got there.
Yeah, and then
And
that's the other thing. Like, you get these people that are like, we live in an affluent society where Steven and I are right now, and a lot of the churches are like country clubs for white people. They're
they
like,
are.
I go to this church. What church do you go to? And I'm like,
They try not to be, but it just it happens because people
Right.
suck. And it's
Right.
nothing to do with the mission. It has nothing to do with the mission of the people who started it. It has everything to do with the people who came there looking to satisfy some need in themselves rather than looking to satisfy the needs of the community around them. How
To
can
the
I
people
help? How
make
can
up
I
the
get in? How can I
Right.
change things? And you're going to get something out of it by participating in those activities. I got more out of church when I was helping build that stage in that school every day,
Stab yourself in the knee.
stabbing myself with pocket knives, than I ever got like just going. Now that I just go and I don't volunteer, I don't get anything. Like I get some of what I'm looking for, but my job, I've spent ever since I was 12 listening to these stories. I know them. I have
Right.
been fed, as people like to say. I can feed myself. I want to go help others now, but I've got to
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why before social welfare, we had churches, we had neighbors. Like, if something happened and you could not feed yourself because your crop had been wiped out, or your husband died, or you broke your leg and your horse took off with your cow and your lambs were all ran over by Buffalo Bill, like, you went to the church and people did food trains and they helped you. And it wasn't like, oh, we're so much better by helping you. It was somebody that we know needs help. We're able to help. Let's help. Like, that's
Oh,
why,
yeah.
like, if you move into an area, getting set up at a church is a nice place because they'll have people help you move, but we've gotten so far away from Stephen and I like Jesus, but daggone it, churches are annoying.
Welcome to Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, everyone. We'll be here continuing to do this podcast for a million years, and we'll eventually bring it back to yelling about things we do every day.
Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, the show that Stephen and Ash. Wait, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, the show where Stephen yell about shit they hate.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Some nights, some nights you want to do another news story.
Yeah, I don't even know.
We've been ranting for hours now. Hours.
I did
so
tell
sorry.
Steven I was really tired. I texted him. I'm like, are we doing the show? Please say no. Please say no. Please say no. And he's like, thumbs up. And I'm like, shit.
Hey, listen, you did the curse. You said, hey, I'm tired. We can do this show quickly. That doesn't happen.
I didn't even say that. I knew. I was just like, oh, this is going to be such a bad show because I'm going to be so tired and I'm going to be yawning the entire time. And I mean, it just takes Steven getting pissed off about Christian music. And there we are.
I've got to, now we know the trick. If you get me mad or I get you mad, it amps up the adrenaline pumps. And we're in fight or flight mode over some stupid topic that no one cares about because welcome to our echo chamber, everybody.
By the way, it's your. We haven't even made it to WTF.
Hasbro is dropping a poop themed Play-Doh playset this year. I'm so done. I quit. I hang up. F this show. We live in a freaking circus. Every time I go to Target and there's like some new poop toy, I just want to choke somebody. Here's the poopies. You can buy little action figures of turds and toilets. Oh, look, Drop a Log, the new game for all the kids. It's like, stop. If you could put a potato up your butt today. It's like break the ice for people who like to poo. I hate it. I talked about a bidet for 10 minutes. I cannot stand this topic. Hasbro wants kids to get their little hands dirty, but not too dirty, with its newest playset that brings that beloved poop emoji to life in all sorts of creative forms. Exactly how is up to every tiny sculpture. The Play-Doh Poop Troop playset is designed for emoji-loving kids who want to make their own silly poop-themed monsters in a variety of colors and with all sorts of amusing accessories. I will never buy this for Sam. I will never respect you if you buy this for your children, short of buying it for a groomsman on his wedding day, or on his on a wedding thing as a gift because it's funny. But no, it's not. It's actually not really funny. It's really stupid. It's really dumb, and we all are gonna rot for this.
So the first thing Sam did was smash all the colors together, make a poo color, and then say it was his flying turd.
Yeah.
Why would you need a playset for that? You just roll brown Play-Doh into a swirl, ta-da, poop. Like,
okay, to be fair,
trying to capitalize on stupid shit, Hasbro.
To be fair, I took the brown Play-Doh and I made a turd and I laid it on the floor and I went, "Look, Sam, a turd." So I'm part of the problem, but I just don't understand.
But you don't need to buy something to make a Play-Doh shit.
You don't need.
You can make a Play-Doh shit without the kit.
Please, if that was not a swear word, that would be the title of this show. Do you really I think I'm less bothered by the fact that you can take brown Play-Doh and make a turd than I am that there is a game where you crap a potato or you clean up after a wiener dog. I can't handle the fact there's a board game involving poop at all. The Poop Troop set includes a poo mold, 22 accessories to dress up the little poop monsters, a rolling pin, and some other tools, and of course 12 cans of Play-Doh compound. It retails for $15 and is suitable for children age 3 and up unless you ban potty talk. I don't ban potty talk. Kids gonna learn the words like poop.
I was gonna say, Sam still asks me to play swords every time we have to go pee, and I'm like, Sam, remember, I'm a girl. I don't have a penis. And today he looked at me, and goes, "You're not a girl?" Or no, I said, "I'm not a guy. I don't have a penis." And he looked at me, and goes, "You're not a guy?" I'm like, I know that's shocking to many people. Jacob was relieved on our wedding night because we waited.
Yeah, kids, you should do that too. What was I gonna say? Oh, we taught Sam to use the real anatomical words for people's parts.
Vagina.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Stephanie read some research that showed that pedophiles are highly less likely to mess with a kid who calls it his penis than if he were to call it his wee-wee, because it weirds them out. Some pedophiles.
That's because it's an effing child, you monstrous bastards!
Well, I mean, yes, that 100% true, but they're seriously weirded out when they use proper anatomical language. So remember that, kids and future parents. Wee-wee is easy for us to say, but
for penis.
say the penis word, and then when your kid says it, you're gonna be like, "That's weird," but I mean, hey, it's not wrong, you know.
Yeah, it was just so, because I was like, because I told him, I'm like, remember, I have a vagina, not a penis, Sam. He's like, you have a vagina? I'm like, yes, a vagina. And every time I say that and have that conversation with Sam, I'm like, girls have a vagina, men have a penis. Kindergarten cop.
Kindergarten cop. Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. Very good.
So every time.
Sam is gonna be that kid.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
It's, it is what it is.
Xander thought Jen had 2 butts when he was 3. You got a front butt and a back butt.
The front butt. I remember that. That's a thing. Front butt.
Actually pretty clever.
Stephanie had she was in some anatomy class and they had to write down what they called their private parts when they were kids. And somebody called theirs a cookie.
That had to be Peyton.
I don't know who it was. Oh gosh, kindergarten cop. It's not a tumor. I know. I'm not surprised. I feel like you should give that one a try.
It's a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
It maybe not be a thing. I don't know how it holds up. I haven't watched it in
It's
a
like
long
when
time.
Vin Diesel did that Disney
Pacifier.
babysitting pacifier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I feel like that's the equivalent
There
of like
was
the
yeah.
strong man doing a comedy.
He hasn't seen that either. But there's a
Yeah, I haven't
trend.
seen it.
There's a trend, or was a trend back in that day. Like Hulk Hogan did Suburban Commando, and there was just a
Is that
bunch
where
of
he wore a tutu?
yeah. No, that was when he played Mr. Mom. I think was that
I
one.
watched that when I was little.
Yeah, it's all about putting muscular, generally like like alpha male dudes in a situation of subservience to
That in
children.
well, yeah, I hate them. I hate
Yeah,
them so much.
they're pretty bad. But Kindergarten Cop was fun.
The only like big strong man to dorky comedy transition I really liked was Jumanji with The Rock.
That was great.
Gosh, that was such a I was not expecting it to be that
Uh-uh.
fantastic. It was such a good movie.
I didn't think it'd be good, and it was. So I mean, it's
Jack
good to
Black
me.
is phenomenal.
Oh, speaking of, Tenacious D's new Post-Apocalypto on YouTube is worth a watch.
Oh, I want to see.
It's a disaster. It's the lowest, but I think they made it for $50. At
What?
least the YouTube videos. It is Jack Black's drawings. Basically look like you use Windows or like Paint, MS Paint, and but it's scripted stuff on top of these beautiful, horrible drawings and there's just phallic imagery everywhere. But the songs in these videos, at least the first episode, like legit. Well done, Tenacious D. Well
I
done.
like the sad thing is their music is phenomenal. They're
good.
very very talented. Like and the stuff is so catchy, but I'm like I can't really play a lot of this for people or
No.
out loud or get it stuck in my head because Jacob will walk around the kitchen for 2 months straight telling me that, kielbasa sausage, my butt cheeks are warm.
It's so catchy. Kielbasa sausage, your butt cheeks are warm.
My God. And then the one that I want to it gets so much worse from there. And Jacob gets these songs stuck in my head. I'm like, this is why I listen to shit in German, dude.
Yeah, they get stuck. They're pretty bad. There's some safe ones like Wonder Boy's pretty good, but then there's F Her Gently, which is a pretty rough one.
That's the one. Jacob will sing the entire freaking thing and then be like, "Hey, baby, you want to have sex?" I'm like, after that wooing moment, why not?
Why not? It's always what dudes like to hear, you know? Yeah, why
I
not?
feel like guys don't really give a shit as
No,
long
they
as
don't.
it's in the affirmative somehow.
They're just looking for that. Sure. You're like, yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
Gore. WTL.
Cheerleader gave away pot brownies to win homecoming queen vote. Shocking,
Nice.
literally no one.
Good
That's pretty,
strategy.
yeah, right? And we shouldn't ding her for that. A cheerleader's dream of becoming homecoming queen, kind of rhymes enough to make me cringe, may have gone to pot. High five, person who wrote this.
Some people get so mad about puns in articles. I just get tickled.
High five. Police in Hartford, Michigan are currently investigating how a batch of 12 weed-laced desserts were distributed. Hartford patrolman Michael Prince, who's investigating the incident, said it's one of the strangest cases he's seen. You always think you've heard it all and seen it all, and there's always something new to surprise you. High school plus pot brownies does not equal surprise.
No, that's not surprising at all.
No one. Christian schools had pot brownies, for Pete's sake. We are investigating two things. Number one, some were put in goodie bags for players. Also, they were used to obtain votes for the Queen contest. A student is believed to have included the brownies in gift bags for the school's football players. That kid's going far. She would have gotten a high score on the D test.
A high score.
I get it. I didn't get that I made a joke, and then I did. Police heard about the alleged brownies via an anonymous tip. A school investigation confirmed several students received brownies laced with marijuana, according to a note posted on Facebook. Because this is how we communicate now, because F us. All individuals involved are being dealt with according to our district policies and student handbooks. We have notified the Hartford Police Department and are assisting them in their criminal investigation on the matter. Nobody cares.
Weed is so dumb.
So there's a guy in not Pittsburgh, the other place.
Philadelphia.
Yes. That's wanting to open up like a safe haven for people to shoot up in. And Jacob was telling me about this, so I don't know
Yeah.
all
These
the
are
explanation.
popular in other countries. We just don't have them here.
Right. So we ended up talking about like West Virginia and how they have needle exchange programs and how, I mean, realistically it's federally illegal, right? But you can't make someone not addicted by wishing them they weren't addicted. So if you can keep their life safe enough in a situation where they have clean needles to use, or they have a safe place that they're not going to get hurt, or if they do overdose, that people are close at hand to administer life-saving techniques, right? Like, why are we so against that? Like, people that are addicted are going to be addicted until they can receive help that will coach them the rest of their life. Addiction is a lifelong thing, yada, 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 yada. But I don't understand why people are so against stuff like that.
It's an unfamiliar. It's like why, if my kid eats too much candy, why would I give him more candy? You know, it's like there's stupid reasons behind it. I was listening to one dude. He is a homeless guy, and he was talking. He's like, I'm fine being homeless. This is fine. I do heroin. I know why I'm here. And they were like, well, you could, use some assistance like methadone or something to get off. And he was like, I could seriously quit heroin and shake for a few days and be incredibly sick and want to die, or I could do methadone and feel sick and want to die for multiple weeks.
Yep.
He's like, that's the worst thing you can tell somebody who's trying to come off heroin to do is take methadone.
But the government gets tax write-offs and they can charge things for methadone, right? Like that's something that they can control.
Yeah, they can control your methadone input, or they're paying them for that. But
so oh my god, the methadone thing goes through. I've seen people pass out, have panic attacks, go into seizures trying to get off methadone. I've been to the methadone clinics and they just like parcel it out in little like ketchup solo cups. And you just are expected to show up. Like, a lot of these people don't have homes, yada, 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 don't have vehicles. They're depending on other people. And that's how they get them off methadone. It's like months long weaning process because you can seize out and freaking die. But yeah, go on this other drug that is equally as addictive to get off the drug you're currently on. F everybody.
Yeah, it's like the little old lady that swallowed the fly, then swallowed a spider, then swallowed a cat, then swallowed a dog. It's like I'm gonna die doing this. Like it's gonna be terrible. And it's like, you could just go do what Ray Charles did and be like, I want to get clean, and they strap you to a bed and feed you fluids, and you're gonna want to die. You may not die. You're going to want to die, but you're done in 4 or 5 days. You're at least to a point where you can function.
At that point you become physically non-addicted, but your mental addiction hasn't gone anywhere.
Mental addiction's not going to go anywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. I right now am thinking about a freaking brownie that Jacob brought home from the JDRF fundraiser. I'm like, I want to eat that, but it's 10:41 and I can't eat after 8, but I still freaking want it.
That's the struggle, man. And it happens like with food in particular. You're like, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm not going to eat this candy. And then you're sitting there and you get idle, which is the worst thing. Never get idle. And then you go, and then some automatic thing takes over and you're sitting there eating a bag of candy corn going, what have I done? I didn't intend for this to do this. And then you put it back and you're like, well, I won't do that again. That's what the thing is. That's what it is with nearly every single dependency, whether it's mental dependency or physical dependency. You don't know who you are when you're doing the thing. And then when it's over, you're like, oh yeah, man, I really screwed that up. I need to really not do that again.
Yep.
I'll keep my streak up if I just stop.
And that's with food. Like Steven and I are
Yeah.
talking about like chocolate and freaking like
Right.
fruity popcorn. So we get like a mild dopamine hit from gorging on that shit. But then the people that are actually addicted to, like Kelly said, like opioids, and everybody's like, just stop. Like, why don't do you not love me enough to just stop?
Oh
Like,
gosh, yeah, you'll die.
like your body, your brain is literally telling you that you're dying. Like people seize out. People, it's so bad.
And you often can't get care for things that are just mental, what's considered a mental dependency, like say
Mhm.
somebody has a sex addiction, or like there's no, in the psychology handbook, like you are not considered a disease. You do not have a disease.
Yeah.
Even if you're a glutton, man. Like there literally should be, like, in Eaters Anonymous, a Sex Addicts Anonymous,
Mhm.
a Narcotics Anonymous, because none, like, there's several things out there that you can't get help for with any sort of insurance.
Right. Yeah.
Like, man, you got a drug problem, you can get all kinds of help, but if you've got, like,
Kind
some
of.
other mental desire, compulsive Twitch streamer, there's it's not
Video
saying.
game. I mean, people
Yeah,
that will die playing video games because they don't want to get up and go eat or drink water.
yeah, it's just a dangerous place to be, and like, we can sit there and go, "That's crazy." You can put video games can be put down. You're not that person, and you're not their brain, man. Like, mental health is so stupid because it's one of the hardest things. I had a paranoid schizophrenic grandmother, so this is a very sensitive topic for me. But it's like, you can't understand what's in that head.
Yep.
You can go, "Oh, she's crazy," and thinks that this person's out to get her or whatever. She literally thinks that person's out to get her.
Yeah.
If you didn't think that person was out to get, like, if you thought someone was out to get you, wouldn't you do the same thing?
Yep.
Like, it's as real as I am. Like, it's a thing. It's so, man. If you have a mental health condition, find somebody to talk to for sure. Is there a mental health kind of thing you can call? I don't know that any of our people do. Our people, y'all all have mental conditions. Who are we kidding? I know I do.
Hotline,
Yeah,
maybe?
sure. There's got to be some sort of hotline for people that are like, I think I might be having some problems.
24-hour.
This is mean. Usually people are so good at throwing these numbers up. We're like, 1-800 don't cut was easy. This is really hard.
I don't know. That's what, like, there's stuff for specifics, right? Like if
Oh yeah.
suicide, yada yada yada. But if it's just like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. There's resources somewhere on the internet. You can find them. Go forth and Google.
Yeah. While
man,
you're thinking about all the horrible things you're thinking about with your mental health issues,
good Lord,
Google.
This is the longest show we've ever done.
I know. It's like 11 o'clock, and I'm just like, I'm so
know.
tired. I don't want to do a long show.
I know. I got to go to bed. You also hit 29 swears in the episode where we complaining about Christian music
Christian
in
music.
churches.
Well, shit. We'll just make it an even 30.
Good. Get on that sub. Well done, everyone. Hey, man, it's been a wonderful show. We have loved spending this evening with you, much longer than we actually intended. I was going to get in bed on time because tomorrow's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you guys are the best. If you want to send us mail, send it to hnhshow@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you on any of these topics. If you've got anything you would like to let us know, that's the way to do it. Or you can just hit us up on Twitter. I'm Steve H&H. Ashley is Fate Kills, PHATE Kills. And there's Two Dorks TV also, if you want to hit that Twitter account. And you can tip us if that's what you want to do. You can do that, twodorks.net/tip. You send us a couple bucks, helps us keep the show running, pay for our web server bills that just came out again, and all those other fun things. If you're into listening to cool people talk about cool stuff, we're also still pushing Creator Crush. We just had Jeff Kanata on the show, had a really good time with him. I actually could have spent more time with him in some deeper stuff. And just time constraints, man. Time constraints.
He has small children.
It's small children, but it was a really good show. So check that out and follow that. Rate it. Rate us. Rate everybody on all the apps everywhere. Oh, we should be available on Spotify now. If not today, tomorrow, the next day, sometime.
If not today, tomorrow.
We'll be there in the near term. So check out Spotify and rate us there as well. Any new directories, it's always good to get some early 5 stars. So do the thing. And we're going to leave you guys with these words of wisdom from Channing Pollock. He said, "No man in the world has more courage than the man who can stop after eating one peanut." That's legit. That's a true
That's
story.
I was gonna say that's nice after our addiction chat.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You guys have yourself a wonderful week, and we will see you next time right here next Thursday, hopefully, depending on how certain things go with extraneous life forces. Hopefully, we'll
Mom.
be here. Yeah, Mom, what are you doing? Later.
Sub's like, I'm not a snacker. F you, Sub. I snack me the shit out of Sub. I was just telling Stephanie that like snacking is bad for you, and like I got stressed out and like, oh, it's still beside me. I went and opened the box of like hippie bunnies. I mean, I ate like 3 handfuls.
I haven't stopped recording yet. This bonus to content is the greatest. Bye, everyone.